Here with Washington and Lee after the Generals knock off Johns Hopkins on penalty kicks to advance to the round of 16 in the 2024 NCAA Division III Men's Soccer Championships. Here with head coach Lumumba Shabazz and student athlete Will Joseph. Coach, if you just start with a comment about the game, and then we'll have a couple questions.
My comment is I think I needed blood pressure pills on the sideline. So I'm amlodipine. Probably needed a doctor. Obviously, right? Tough game. We always knew it was going to be a tough game. Certainly playing here at Johns Hopkins and playing Johns Hopkins itself. Played them early in the season, and it was a battle, and we kind of predicted that it would be quite similar. The early part of the game, I felt we dominated. Probably should have done a better job of maybe finishing a couple of the other chances we had. But once they came back into the game, then the contest evened out, and at that point, it was just back and forth. It's one of those games against two good teams competing, fighting, and nobody wanted to go home. So I got a lot of respect for Craig. Know him personally, a lot of respect for his program. Obviously, a lot of respect for this school as well, this institution. So it was just an old-fashioned dogfight, and quite honestly, I'm just happy we came out on top.
Coach, I guess what you guys feel like with your the supporting crowd, the support that you guys had all weekend here, with how much fans were able to travel?
Well, you know what? It's something we never take for granted. I certainly never take it for granted, and you won't. You know, I always tell my guys, I remind them that I've lost a parent, right? I've lost my mom, and for me, mom was like the center of our universe. We rotated around her, right? And in losing her, I always try to tell our guys how privileged they are, because I was able to play soccer at many different levels, and mom wasn't able to see much of it, right? And so I think for them, having mom and dad making that sacrifice, and I mean, you got to understand, you got people that's missing work. It's made huge sacrifices for our players to attend a school like ours, an institution like ours. And so we spend a lot of time trying to reflect in and making sure that they understand how grateful they need to be in that process. I mean, they show up, they wash clothes, they provide food, they provide support. It's huge. It's huge. And so it's a huge respect and honor. And I think our guys get that message, though. They appreciate it.
And I guess going into tournaments like this, you guys are very familiar with that. How does that work in terms of planning for, essentially playing two games in 24 hours, where especially now you play a full 90. Yesterday, I think 6 of your starters played the full 90, then 110 today. I mean, it just seems like, the season is so long, and then we just go into a full-speed sprint for, 36 hours.
Well, I'll be honest. I think it's kind of criminal, quite honestly. I mean, we speak a lot of time about safety and well-being of players, and to play, I mean, you think you play, and I played professionally, you'd play one game and needed minimum 56 hours for your body to recover. And even then, you'll still carry fatigue. So us asking these players, right, to play back-to-back games. And on top of that, you already have a mental load, a stress load, because, I mean, if you're studying here at an institution like Johns Hopkins, or you're studying at Washington and Lee, I mean, our guys were celebrating, and I was like, all right, guys, organic chemistry. Yeah, let's get back. It's difficult. It's very difficult, right? And, I mean, all the objective data tells us that if you play back-to-back games like that, the incidence of injuries goes up, the percentage of injuries goes up, the quality of the game degenerates. I think we probably need to address that going long-term. Maybe it should be one game. Could be a Saturday, Wednesday type split. I know schools are worried probably about the money that would cost, but to me, we're sacrificing a lot, right? And the students' well-being should be first. It should be first.
Do you have an idea of what you guys were going to do once it seemed like we were going to be going towards penalties?
Yeah, the idea is don't lose. You no, seriously. It's like we talk a lot of times about old school Vikings just burning their ships when they land on shore. So it's like you burn your ship. When you burn it, the only way is forward. You can't go backwards, right? So obviously we have a talented goalkeeper, and many of our guys have been in this situation, having lost to Amherst last year. So it gives you a bit of confidence, right? So we felt pretty good about that, but certainly we wanted to finish the game in early in regulation rather than go to PKs, So yeah, it's a little bit of your heart started to flutter a little bit, but no, we felt confident. We felt really confident.
Will, can you talk about your mindset going into PKs? I mean, I'm sure you had scouted. Hopkins doesn't exactly do them traditionally.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely, I've never have gone against a PK takers, and especially PK takers, because every single player does the exact same run up. But I knew what was coming. I knew about that one-step run up. And I mean, I've been in this situation before. I know it's not necessarily Johns Hopkins, but I was here in the Elite Eight against Colorado College, and that at that point experience kind of just kicks in. But at the same time, I also knew that every single one of my teammates was going to have my back. Every single person was going to put the ball in the back of the net, and all I had to do was just make a save. And that's the business at the end of the day.
So odd to ask, but had you scouted, or did you guess right, or on that first one? Because getting the first one it changes the whole dynamic for everything.
Well, with penalty kicks, especially like these ones, a lot of it has to do with mind games a little bit, and so there was no access to any of the film on what location they were going to go to, and I know that with a one-step run-up, they're just waiting for me to make a move, So for me, it was I tried to play a little bit of mind games and just bring up a blank water bottle to try and make it look like I knew where they were going, to maybe try and make them second guess themselves a little bit. But I mean, also just like the way they kick it, they really can only kick it to their right if they're right-footed. So it was just they had to put it in the back of the net, put it high, and luckily, one of them was a bit lower, and I was able to make the save.
After the goal to tie it at 1-1, what was the message going out to the team? It seems like you guys just were like, oh, we have a little hiccup, and then we just kept going.
Yeah, I like Coach was saying beforehand, I really thought that before that goal, we were really dominating the game. I thought we were playing really good soccer, moving the ball around well, looking for direct balls, and after that goal, I think that the tide really, really turned. I thought that Hopkins really found a foot, and they were moving the ball around well, making us really tired. And I like Coach said, I really think at the end of the game there, it was just who was going to grit it out more. And this is something that we always talk about, is that there's a connection between the brain and the body. And when you feel like you're going to quit, especially going into overtime, your body's you still got 60% left in the tank. And every single guy on our team had that locked in the back of their brain, and we're going to put their entire bodies on the line so that we could get this result.
And I guess one question kind of for both of you, observing during the game, it just seems like your back line of Ryan and Willie Hall and Furman, I mean, just incredible. It's like they almost never made a mistake. They're always in the right spot at the right time.
Well, they made a couple mistakes. They made a couple mistakes, but no, listen, those guys, I mean, you think about it now, right? We lost the first 3 games. Now we're like 18 games unbeaten. Those guys are the foundation. And when I said those guys, I mean, you're looking at the goalkeeper, a back four, and even the guys that would come in to sub those guys occasionally. But they're the foundation of pretty much everything that we've managed to do to this point, right? They're very consistent. I mean, somebody like Spencer, you could set your watch to him and know exactly what you're going to get. PJ's the same. Ace's consistency, his durability, his ability to run for 90 minutes, and Willie, his skill on ball, his ability to link the play. I mean, these guys, they keep going and going and going. So, long may they stay healthy. Wish they were actually sophomores again, so we could keep them for 2 more years. But no, they were tremendous. They were absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, there's, especially as a goalkeeper with our center backs, but even our outside backs and our midfielders, is that we have our little squad. We call it the Brick Squad, and unfortunately we didn't come away with the brick today. We let in a goal, but there's a sense of culture around our back line, and we really take pride in our defensive work. Like Coach said, it's the foundation of our team, and even the forwards and midfielders are starting to sort of understand that, and we're a force to be reckoned with when everyone's on that same page.